There's a woman whose whole life fell apart right before her eyes. She had everything: a loving husband, a good business, and people who called her friend. But one day, everything changed. Her husband left without a word. The business she built with her sweat and tears collapsed in 1 week. Friends who used to eat at her table disappeared like smoke. She lost money, peace, and even her confidence. At night, she would cry until her pillow was soaked. Sometimes, she would look at the ceiling and whisper, "God, why me? What did I do wrong?" But heaven was silent. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. There were moments she thought of giving up completely. Life didn't make sense anymore. The woman who used to help others now had nothing, not even food to eat. But one quiet afternoon, something happened. Her neighbor, a woman she barely spoke to, knocked on her door with a small bag of groceries. She smiled and said, "I don't know why, but God told me to bring this to you." The woman broke down in tears. That simple act reminded her that God hadn't forgotten her. It wasn't about the food, it was about hope. From that moment, things began to shift. She started praying again, not for riches, not for success, but for strength. A few days later, she got a call from someone who offered her a small job. It wasn't big, but it was enough to start again. Step by step, God began to rebuild her life. The job turned into a business opportunity. The people who once laughed at her began to see her rise again. She didn't rush, she trusted God's timing. Today, that same woman stands tall. She lost everything once, but what God gave her back was greater than what she lost. She found peace, joy, and a stronger faith. So when people ask her how she made it, she smiles and says, "I didn't. God carried me." Sometimes, God allows everything to fall apart, not to destroy you, but to rebuild you into something stronger. Because when everything fails, that's when God truly shows up. If this story touched you, type amen in the comments and share it to encourage someone who feels lost right now. Because your testimony might be the light someone else is praying for.